Here are the top stories of the news. Peter Obi knocks federal government over alleged $9 million spent on foreign lobbyists. The UN Food Agency warns Nigeria faces worst hunger in decade as aid cuts its northeast. On the foreign scene, Uganda police deny opposition leader Bobi Wine's arrests. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alugbe. Following the reported spending of about $9 million on foreign lobbyists in Washington, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi has criticized the federal government for what he described as Nigeria's persistent habit of prioritizing waste over human well-being. In a statement released on his X handle on Friday, Obi described the alleged deal as a painful reminder of how public funds are routinely deployed to manage perception abroad while conditions at home continue to deteriorate. He warns that the country's worsening development crisis was as a result of poor leadership choices. He noted that the country has remained stagnant in the low HDI category for 35 years, from 1990 to 2025, while in contrast, comparable nations within the same low category, such as China, where Nigeria had a threefold higher percent capita income in 1990, and Indonesia have advanced from low to medium and now to high categories. He stressed that the achievements of these nations were not the result of fate, miracles, or natural endowments, but rather a consequence of choices and the cumulative effects of good and bad leadership. He argued that the funds spent on foreign lobbyists could have been used to purchase essential hospital equipment, directly improving healthcare delivery and positively influencing Nigeria's image. In another development, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has assured Nigerians that President Bola Tinubu is laying a strong foundation for long-term growth and shared prosperity. In a statement issued by his special assistant on media, Malam Rabiu Ibrahim, the minister stated these when he received members of the Grassroots Advocacy for Tinubu GAT 2027 in a courtesy visit. He noted that the administration has taken bold and sometimes difficult decisions to place the country on a more sustainable path. He stated that the steps were taken to stabilize the economy and restore confidence, adding that the early signs of recovery are becoming evident across key sectors of the economy. He further added that Nigeria's improving economic outlook must be protected through unity, responsible communication, and collective support for national policies. The minister commended the GAT 2027 group for its civic engagement and acceptance of responsibility in supporting accurate public information. For politics, the African Democratic Congress ADC spokesperson Bolaji Abdullahi has said the opposition party's objective is to remove President Tinubu from power as a necessary step towards rescuing Nigeria from what he described as an unprecedented governance crisis. Speaking in a news chart on Friday evening, Abdullahi stated that there is no scenario where President Tinubu remains in power and they are able to save the country. The ADC spokesman claims that Nigeria has been hijacked, adding that when people say one can smash it, grab it, and run with it, that is the language of banditry. He indicated that such attitudes now reflect the mindset of President Tinubu's administration. Abdullahi, a former minister, also raised concerns over allegations of legislative manipulation, especially on the tax laws, describing recent events as unprecedented in the nation's democratic history. The ADC spokesman further accused the government of forging a law that had already been duly passed by the National Assembly, questioning the implications of such an act. In Rivers State, State High Court sitting in Oyigbo local government area has stepped into the escalating political crisis in the state, issuing an interim injunction that temporarily holds further action on the impeachment process against Governor Simlai Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Maudu. In a ruling delivered in Port Harcourt, the court restrained the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, Martin Emaule, alongside 32 other defendants, including the clerk of the House and the Chief Judge of River State, from taking steps aimed at advancing the impeachment process. Specifically, the order barred the Chief Judge, Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi, from receiving, forwarding, considering, or acting on any request or impeachment-related document from the Assembly for the purpose of constituting an investigative panel pending the determination of the matter. The court also redirected the Chief Judge listed that the 32nd defendant was served through any staff of the judiciary at his chambers within the court premises. Earlier, the State House of Assembly had called on the Chief Judge of the state to set up a panel to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct against the governor and his deputy.
Pursuant to this section of the Constitution, I seek your leave to immediately put this to vote on that note. Members who are in support that the notice of allegations of gross misconduct against His Excellency Sir Simlai Fubara, GSSRS, Governor of River State, be investigated should indicate by raising their hands. Please do the count. Against nil. Distinguished colleagues, by this voting, the River State House of Assembly has resolved that investigations against allegations of gross misconduct leveled against His Excellency Sir Simlai Fubara, Governor of River State, should proceed to the next level, which is investigation, and by virtue of Section 188, subsection 5, I will ensure that the resolution of this House is immediately communicated to the Chief Judge of River State.
And while 4 members of the River State House of Assembly who recently withdrew from the impeachment proceedings against Governor Simlai Fubara have reversed their decision and declared support for the process. The lawmakers are the minority leader of the House, Sylvanus Nwankwo, Peter Abe, representing the Gema constituency, Barele Nwako of Kana constituency 1, and Emilia Amadi of Obioakpo constituency 2. The lawmakers made the U-turn on Friday during a live broadcast aired from the front of the River State House of Assembly complex, days after publicly calling for an amicable resolution of the political crisis rocking the state. Also speaking, Nwako and Amadi said they decided to back the impeachment after concluding that the governor and his deputy has shown no willingness to resolve the crisis with dialogue.
You recall, we made a plea to our colleagues to seek for a political solution to this impasse that is going on between the Assembly and the Governor of River State. During the pendency of this appeal, we found out that the governor and the deputy governor, they have all employed their media boys and aides to continuously attack the River State House of Assembly instead of seeking for the political solution which we offered. It is on this basis that I, Honorable Sylvanus Nwankwo, and my fellow colleague here, Honorable Peter Abe, is saying that the impeachment proceedings should continue.
We have resolved to proceed with the impeachment process. We had earlier taken a position to consider a political solution, but the governor and deputy governor are ignoring us. They are insisting that they will not govern in line with the Constitution and that nothing will happen.
I'm from Andoni, the same federal constituency with the governor. People should stop bringing tribal sentiment. It's not by emotion. It's to look into the allegation one by one and check if there was any infringement on the Constitution.
Turning to security, operatives of the Department of State Services (DSS) in Niger State have rescued 2 pastors and a church member abducted by armed bandits in Kaduna State. The victims, Idi Buhari, Emmanuel Jacob, and Suleiman Adamu, were kidnapped on January 9 at the Gwangwanda area of Chikun local government area while traveling through Kugosi to Serkin Pawa in Niger State to officiate a wedding ceremony. Receiving the rescued pastors, chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the 19 northern states of the Federal Capital Territory, Joseph Hayab, said the victims were safely rescued from the bush by DSS operatives during security operations in Niger State. Hayab commended the DSS for what he described as courageous and selfless service to the nation, noting that the successful rescue brought immense relief to the church and families of the victims. Meanwhile, DSS operatives of the Niger and Kaduna State Command in a joint operation also arrested 3 suspects linked to the incident. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back for this break.